Okay, let's move ahead further. Now we are into the fourth head of income now, that is capital gains. Now, before I proceed further related to every rules and regulations and provisions forming a part of the capital gains, first let's understand that what is this capital gains is all about. In what kind of a situation you will have to pay this? What are the assets gets qualified as a capital asset? What is this tax is all about? First of all, so obviously CS material is something which is technically very sound. So let's study that from there only. Now we are not going to refer this for the every concepts we are going to deal, but yes, selectively, specifically wherever we'll be feeling that that's the best source available to us, we'll be studying directly from there. So if you start reading the second para over here, everyone, let me just zoom it up further. Section 45 provides that any profits or gains arising from the transfer of a capital asset effected in a previous year will be chargeable to income tax under the heads capital gains. Try to understand each and every word. First word which gets highlighted automatically is the transfer. Now you will have to identify that whether that was a transfer or not. First of all, that is the number one question. Now, yes, there is a definition given to us for the transfer. What are the things which will not be considered as a transfer of capital asset? In some of the situations, it will be deemed to be taken as a transfer of the capital asset, even though the capital asset is not transferred physically. So, we'll have to first understand the transfer. That is the one thing. Number two, of a capital asset. So again, they have used the terminology capital asset. So we need to identify what is the capital asset first of all. Now the transfer effected in a previous year. You people are aware that previous year in assessment year, right? So that transfer must have taken place in the previous year. Now see, it's talking about the transfer, not the actual receipt of the consideration, please. The receipt of the consideration might be in advance, might be delayed, but in which year the transfer took place is something which matters to us. So transfer was taken place in the previous year. So if I tell you about the current previous year we have from the 1st of April of 2019 to the 31st of March of 2020, उसके बीच में अगर तुमने कहीं पे ट्रांसफर हुआ, आई एम नॉट using the terminology of receipt of consideration, that is a different matter, then you will have to pay the tax on this assessment year which is 2020 2021, राइट. सो इस बार तो इनकम टैक्स का फाइलिंग डिले होता गया, जुलाई से लेके नवंबर गया बिकॉज ऑफ ऑल दिस एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी सिचुएशंस. फिर दिसंबर तक गया, जनवरी में भी गया, जनवरी में फिर से थोड़ा सा एक्सटेंशन मिला फाइलिंग के लिए. बट अब करना पड़ेगा, क्या करें, ऐसा कुछ कोरोना वगैरह आ जाएगा तो हमें तो मालूम नहीं था. So important words which we are taking right now from this para, first of all is the capital asset, number two is the transfer. So let's move ahead with the capital asset. Let's move ahead with the definition given by section 2 subsection 14 of the Income Tax Act. The first clause tells you that it's a property of any kind held by an assessee whether or not connected with his business or profession. Whether that property is connected with the business or profession, that does not matter. It might be there in your residential house. Still, it's a property. So one thing we should take care that the connection with the business and profession is not mandatory to call it as a capital asset. Yes, there are certain exclusions from the capital asset which are not considered as a capital asset. But what this clause is trying to say is that the connection with the business and profession is not mandatory. That is the takeaway, right? So whether it is connected or not with the business or profession, not mandatory. If it is a property, it is a capital asset. Okay, let's move ahead further. Number two, any securities held by a foreign institutional investor which has invested in such securities in accordance with the SEBI regulations. Now, foreign institutional investors are those people who are staying abroad. They are institutional investors like mutual funds, like investment banks, like the financial institutions, like the insurance companies of other and countries. Those are the people who find the opportunities in the emerging markets, or in any other markets. They invest in India or in various other countries. Now, why there is a need to give a specific clause about this foreign institutional investor? There is a need, and that need you will be able to understand when we will learn about the stock in trade. So second thing which should strike in your mind is that why foreign institutional investors deserve a special mention in the clause. Earlier you had written that all the properties, whether or not related to business and profession, forms a part of the capital asset. Understood. Why there is a need to include it exclusively? Let's see that. Now, capital asset does not include, from here, let's try to understand, does not include stock in trade. So if something which is a stock for you, now when that particular thing would be a stock for you, obviously when you are dealing in the business and profession of it. Let me give you a very simple example. For me, furniture might be an asset, but for the person who is into a business and profession, the furniture is the stock in trade, because he is dealing into that business. So anything which forms a part of the stock in trade is not a capital asset. For us, shares and securities are the investments, but for the brokerage houses whose only work is to deal in these shares and securities would be the stock in trade. Now let's understand the below mentioned para. Now it tells you, see, let's understand the second one in the green highlighted portion, the second para in the green highlighted portion. Further, the explanatory memorandum of the Finance Bill 2014 clarifies that the income arising from transfer of such security by foreign portfolio investor would be in the nature of capital gain, irrespective of presence or otherwise in India of the fund manager managing the investments of the assessee. Some people would be like, sir, thoda sa easy way. Okay, बेटा सेकंड वाले में स्पेसिफिकली मैंने बताया था ना कि व्हाई they had included this foreign institutional investors. They are saying that even though foreign institutional investors are there जिनके पास शेयर्स एंड सिक्योरिटीज एज अ स्टॉक इन ट्रेड पड़ी हुई है, स्टॉक इन ट्रेड मतलब कि वो उसके लिए ही बिजनेस करते हैं, उसमें ही बिजनेस करते हैं, फिर भी उन्हें कैपिटल गेन्स के हिसाब से टैक्स पे करना पड़ेगा, ना कि बिजनेस एंड प्रोफेशन के हिसाब से टैक्स पे करना पड़े. So if foreign institutional investors are investing in India, even if they are keeping the security only for 2 days, and their normal day-to-day business is of dealing in the securities, then also it will be taken as the capital gains, not as the income from business and profession for those people. Are we getting it? That's why it was included exclusively as a part B in the definition of capital asset. Property might have the physical substance. Property might be just a monetary property like shares and securities. Property might be of intangible nature like intellectual property rights. So physical substance is also not mandatory to be regarded as the property. It is something which is, capital expenditure in nature. Might have the physical substance, might not have the physical substance. Might be tangible, might be intangible too. Okay, so this is the exclusion. Huh? We are not going to include these things in the capital asset definition. So first thing we haven't included is the stock in trade, right? So anyone who is dealing in that business only, for him or her, that will not be taken as the capital asset. For jewelry, if you take the example, for us, the jewelry might be a capital asset. Yes, obviously it's a capital asset, but the person who is dealing in the jewelry business, he is keeping a stock of so many number of lakhs of jewelries. He is keeping this as a part of the normal day-to-day business. It's not a capital asset for him. It's a business and professional income for a jeweler, right? That's why it will not be included over here. The second specific exclusion given to us over here is the personal effect. Now, anything which you have kept, now personal effect is also pretty much prescribed. Huh? See, you will have to see that the description is very comprehensive. It has been given to you. It's not left up to your interpretation. What does it mean? It's a movable property, including wearing apparel and furniture, held for personal use by the assessee or the member of his family dependent on him. कोई भी चीज आप आपके पर्सनल यूज के लिए रखते हो, वेयरिंग अपीरियल हो, आपने कहीं स्विट्जरलैंड घूमने गए, आपको लगा कि ओ माय गॉड दैट ड्रेस इज सो गुड, यू हैव टेकन दैट ड्रेस इन इंडिया एंड इफ यू आर सेलिंग, आपके पड़ोसी ने बोला कि मुझे ये ड्रेस चाहिए, तो आपने 5,000 रुपए में लिया था, आपने 10,000 रुपए में बेच दिया, आपने अर्न कर लिया, बट दैट ड्रेस इज नॉट कंसिडर्ड एज द कैपिटल एसेट बिकॉज यू वर यूजिंग इट फॉर योर पर्सनल पर्पसेस. It can be wearing apparel. It is applicable even to the furniture. If you are using it for your personal purposes, and it's also been given that member of his family dependent on him. Now see, these are the words. What is the meaning of dependent? There would be a separate interpretation of it. What is the family dependent? Separate interpretation. So we are not going to that much of detail right now. What is important for us is that any kind of a thing which we are using for our wearing apparel, for sort of a thing which are personal use in nature, must be a movable. Land नहीं चलेगा, इमूवेबल इन नेचर. बिल्डिंग नहीं चलेगा, मैं तो बिल्डिंग अपने पर्सनल यूज के लिए यूज करता हूं, तो बेटा बिल्डिंग है वो इमूवेबल है. मैं तो लैंड है ना मेरा पर्सनल यूज के लिए यूज करता हूं, तो इनकम टैक्स पकड़ेगा. इधर है, इधर है, इधर है. लैंड को एक जगह पे से दूसरी जगह पे ले सकते हो, नहीं ले सकते, इमूवेबल है, पर्सनल इफेक्ट में नहीं आएगा. It must be movable. You are using it for your personal purposes. You or either any member of your family who is dependent on you, if they are using it for personal purposes, cannot be called as capital asset. But certain things are excluded from the personal effects. That means they will be regarded as the capital asset. Now, this is the exclusion from the exclusion. Understand the definition. Exclusion from the exclusion. That means they will be regarded as the capital asset. So these are the things will not be included in the personal effect kind of a things. One is the jewelry. So if you sell the jewelry to someone, it will be regarded as the capital asset. Yes or no? What is the exclusion from the exclusion? That means it's the inclusion. Some people would be like, सर तो इनकम टैक्स को ये करने की क्या जरूरत थी, तो पर्सनल असेट में तो कोई क्या करेगा मालूम है. फिर तो गोल्ड में तो यहाँ पे लोगों को इतना इन्वेस्ट करने का मजा आता है, पता नहीं क्यों. फिर गोल्ड का स्टोर करके करते रखे कि हम तो ये पहनावे के लिए यूज करते हैं. देखो ज्वेलरी है, डिजाइन है, इतने बड़े बड़े भारी भारी आप असेट्स लेके आओ और अपने पास पर्सनल यूज के लिए रखो. कुछ कुछ लाखों लाखों करोड़ों की ड्राइंग्स, archaeological collection, some precious metals you have stored. Now this kind of a things cannot be called as, is been excluded to be called as the personal effect kind of a movable, though they are movable, though they are used for your personal purposes, though they are used by the family members of yours, but still it will be called as the capital asset because there is a great chance of tax evasion in these items. Specifically, if I tell you from the Indian perspective, jewelry, we are the country who consumes and wears the jewelry like anything, right? So these are the exclusions. Number one, jewelry. Number two, archaeological collection. कुछ ऐसी ऐतिहासिक पौराणिक चीजें आपको मिल गई जिसकी अभी बहुत ज्यादा वैल्यू है मार्केट में, that will be excluded from the personal effect. That means that will be included in the definition of capital asset. And if that archaeological collection, if you will be selling to someone, it will be called as the capital asset. Drawings, paintings, so all such sort of a art kind of a things, sculptures or any work of art. ये देखो ये इनकम टैक्स वाले हैं ना, यहाँ पे इनको एनी वर्क ऑफ आर्ट कह दिया। देखो मतलब अब आर्ट की तो बहुत बड़ी डेफिनेशन हो गई और एनी वर्क की भी बहुत बड़ी डेफिनेशन हो गई। तो मतलब भैया तुम आर्ट के लिए कुछ भी करो, तुमने कुछ ऐसा बना दिया जिसके ऊपर से तुम्हें पैसे मिलने लगे और जिसमें तुम्हारा आर्ट एलिमेंट इन्वॉल्व है, फिर तुम कहोगे नहीं 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 मैंने तो अपने पर्सनल यूज के लिए यूज किया था। इनकम टैक्स बोलेगा कोई बात नहीं बेटा, हमने लिखा था एक्सक्लूजन में नीचे एनी वर्क ऑफ आर्ट, तुम वहां पे क्वालिफाई कर जाते हो, चलो कैपिटल एसेट है, टैक्स पे करके निकल लो। Right, so this will be included as the capital asset. Okay, so they have given us the definition of the jewelry too. Let's go to that definition as well. Jewelry is a capital asset and profits or gains arising from the transfer of jewelry for the personal use are chargeable to tax under head capital gains. आपने ज्वेलरी ली, ज्वेलरी को सेल करते हो, even though it is for the personal use, it is capital asset and that's why capital gains tax will be applicable on it. ओके नाउ कुछ कुछ लोग बहुत शाणे होते हैं तो वहां पे भी कुछ चीजें निकाल लेते हैं। वो बोलते हैं कि ज्वेलरी के अंदर तो है ना सोना थोड़ा सा कम था, बाकी सब स्टोन्स वगैरह ज्यादा थे। कोई बात नहीं बेटा, थोड़ा सा भी यूज हो गया ना वहां पे, या तो फिर कोई और प्रीशियस मेटल्स भी वहां पे यूज हो गया, देन ऑल्सो इट बिकम्स अ ज्वेलरी। इट्स नॉट जस्ट अबाउट अ गोल्ड, राइट? It could be silver, it can be platinum, it can be any other precious material. Now, any other precious material, now this is something which is not defined. And if it is not defined, that means everything comes into it. Anything which becomes precious by value will come over here. It could be metallic thing, it could be some stones, it could be some other things as well. That becomes automatic part of your jewelry. Now, some people would be like, sir, furniture personal use किया तो वो कैपिटल एसेट नहीं है, लेकिन फर्नीचर के अंदर हमने कुछ सोना फिट किया तो कोई बात नहीं, फर्नीचर के ऊपर नहीं लगेगा, लेकिन फर्नीचर के अंदर तो जो सोने का तूने मढ़ावट की है ना उसके ऊपर लग जाएगा टैक्स। ये भी कवर किया देखो नीचे, प्रीशियस और सेमी प्रीशियस स्टोन्स वेदर और नॉट सेट इन फर्नीचर, यूटेंसिल और अदर आर्टिकल और वर्कड और सीवन इनटू अ वेयरिंग अपीरियल। कोई कोई बोलेगा कि साड़ी है, अभी आपने बोला था सर साड़ी है तो साड़ी के ऊपर तो नहीं लगेगा क्योंकि वो तो पर्सनल यूज की हमने रखी। तो बेटा साड़ी के अगर ऊपर अगर तुम सोने की पूरी मतलब ये कर देते हो, पूरे सोने 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 से कर दे तो फिर वो साड़ी 5 लाख रुपए की हो जाएगी। लोग करने वाले करते हैं ना। इनकम टैक्स ने बोला था साड़ी के ऊपर कैपिटल असेट नहीं लगेगा तो हमें टैक्स पे नहीं करना, लेकिन साड़ी के ऊपर तो गोल्ड चिपका के आएगा तो लगेगा ना। फर्नीचर के अंदर तुमको जैसे प्रीशियस स्टोन्स निकाल दे तो कोई बात नहीं, फर्नीचर के ऊपर नहीं लगेगा, लेट्स रिमूव इट, बट द वैल्यू ऑफ the precious material which is used in the furniture, and if you are transferring that on that, the tax would be payable, as simple as that. So jewelry definition has also been given to us. So till now what we have understood, that any kind of a property, intangible, tangible, might have the physical substance, might not have the physical substance, might be related to the business and profession, might not be related to the business and profession, will be your capital asset. But yes, there are certain exclusions given to you. And the first exclusion was the stock in trade. Second exclusion is the personal effect. Third exclusion is the rural agricultural land. Now we will have to understand that what is this rural agricultural land? First of all, it must be an agricultural land. Number two, it must be rural. And if these two things are satisfied, then you can call it rural agricultural land. Okay, so let's go to the definition of the rural agricultural land now. Now, when I say rural agricultural land, that means some or other kind of an agricultural produce might be there on that land, right? So it is not used for building some infrastructural facilities which are not connected to the agriculture. Yes, if you want to build some infrastructure facility which is related to the agricultural activities only, then it will be forming a part of your agricultural land. But only infrastructure facility which does not have any sort of a relation with any kind of an agricultural produce, then it will not be called as the rural agricultural land. So what is the rural agricultural land? First of all, तो हमें पहले रूरल का मतलब मालूम करना है. तो अगर 10,000 का टाउन है, उसके आजू बाजू में जितनी भी जमीन आती है वो सब रूरल कहलाती है. तो पहला ही हमें यह कह दिया, यहाँ पे देखो फर्स्ट वन, एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड सिचुएशन इन एनी एरिया विद इन द जुरिस्डिक्शन ऑफ म्यूनिसिपलिटी और कैंटोनमेंट बोर्ड हैविंग द पॉपुलेशन ऑफ नॉट लेस देन 10,000 और agricultural land situated in any area within such distance. ये डेफिनेशन है ना, वो अर्बन की दी हुई है. That means, just a second. Let's go to this first of all. I'll go to that in some time to come. Say if your rural agricultural land is between 2 kilometers, within 2 kilometers, and if the population of that particular say municipality is more than 10,000 but lesser than 1 lakh rupees, then it will be taken as the capital asset. उसके बाद वाला जो होगा वो रूरल कहलाएगा. Agricultural land situated in any area within such distance measured aerially in relation to the range of population as shown under. 6 किलोमीटर का रेंज किस में दिया है? इफ द पॉपुलेशन ऑफ दैट कॉन्टोनमेंट दैट पर्टिकुलर जो गांव है, जो शहर है, वो 1 लाख से ज्यादा है लेकिन 10 लाख से कम है, तो आपकी 6 किलोमीटर की जो रेंज होगी वो अर्बन कहलाएगी. अच्छा, 10 लाख से ज्यादा पॉपुलेशन है तो 8 किलोमीटर की रेंज में जहां पे उसका जुरिस्डिक्शन खत्म हो जाएगा, जहां पे जुरिस्डिक्शन है वो तो अर्बन ही है. राजकोट का जुरिस्डिक्शन म्यूनिसिपैलिटी का जहां तक लागू पड़ता है, से फॉर एग्जांपल माधापर सर्कल तक लागू पड़ता है, तो वो तो अर्बन ही है. लेकिन वहां से लेके अगर राजकोट का पॉपुलेशन 10 लाख से ज्यादा है एज पर द ऑफिशियल रिकॉर्ड्स, देन 8 किलोमीटर, तो 8 किलोमीटर तक अर्बन कहलाएगी. उसके बाद वाली है वो रूरल कहलाएगी. समझ में आ रहा है मेरी बात? तो आपको पहले ये देखना है कि कितना पॉपुलेशन है वहां का. अगर 10,000 से ज्यादा है, पहले तो चेक ये करनी है कि 10,000 से पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा है कि नहीं है. 10,000 से ज्यादा है तो आजू बाजू वाली 2 किलोमीटर की और उसके जुरिस्डिक्शन में अंदर वाले आने वाली वो सभी अर्बन कहलाएगी, बाकी सब रूरल कहलाएगी. So let's take it, understand it from the examples, then we'll be able to understand in a better way. Say if you take the village, some of the town which is 11,000 population, which is having the 11,000 population. So that means that falls in the first category. If the land is situated within 1.5 kilometers from the jurisdiction of that town, then that land becomes urban land. And if that is urban land, that means it's a capital asset. If you are selling that land, then you will have to pay the tax. But that kilometer distance depends on the size and the population of that city. Okay. Agricultural land in India which is not situated in any specified area. यहां पे है ना डेफिनेशन कैसे की है, इन लोगों ने डेफिनेशन आपको रूरल की नहीं दी है, इन लोगों ने डेफिनेशन आपको ऐसी दी है कि ये स्पेसिफाइड एरिया के अंदर जो लैंड नहीं आती उसे हम रूरल एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड कहते हैं। तो फिर उन्होंने एरिया आपको स्पेसिफाई करवाया। तो एरिया स्पेसिफाई कैसे करवाया? एरिया स्पेसिफाई में सबसे पहले तो ये किया कि एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड सिचुएटेड इन एनी एरिया विद इन द जुरिस्डिक्शन ऑफ म्युनिसिपैलिटी और कॉन्टोनेंट बोर्ड हैविंग द पॉपुलेशन ऑफ नॉट लेस देन 10,000। तो 10,000 के ज्यादा जैसी वस्ती गई, तो 10,000 से ज्यादा वस्ती गई तो उसके अंदर जो जुरिस्डिक्शन है उसके अंदर कहीं पे कुछ लैंड होगी तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली अर्बन लैंड बन जाएगी। तो इसका मतलब ये हुआ सर कि 10,000 के नीचे जो टाउन आते हैं उस सब में रूरल एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड आती है। यस, इट विल बी रूरल एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड। 10,000 के नीचे वाले पॉपुलेशन है उसके अंदर जो लैंड आती है इट विल ऑटोमेटिकली बी द रूरल एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड। एग्रीकल्चरल के रिलेटेड जो प्रोविजन है वो बाद में देखते हैं, ठीक है। तो यहां पे कौन सी चीज बताई है फिर से समझो, 10,000 से ऊपर वाले सिटी अगर उसके ज्यूरिसडिक्शन में आता है तो ऑटोमेटिकली कैपिटल एसेट बन गया। अच्छा, सिर्फ उसके ज्यूरिसडिक्शन में नहीं, उसके आजू बाजू वाली रेंज भी देखनी है। तो आजू बाजू वाली जो रेंज देखनी है ना, दैट इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन द साइज एंड पॉपुलेशन of that particular town or city. Say if the town or city is having the population of more than 10,000 but lesser than 1 lakh, then up to 2 kilometers. Up to 2 kilometers, it would be urban. That means it would be a capital asset. If you are selling that land, you will have to pay the tax. If the size and population is more than 1 lakh but lesser than 10 lakh, then up to 6 kilometers. Up to 6 kilometers from where? From where the cantonment board jurisdiction gets over. माधापर सर्कल तक अगर राजकोट म्यूनिसिपैलिटी का ज्यूरिडिक्शन एरिया है तो माधापर सर्कल से लेके 6 किलोमीटर तक जितनी भी लैंड होगी वो भी कैपिटल एसेट कहलाएगी। If you take the example of Mumbai, obviously more than 10 lakhs population, तो मुंबई का ज्यूरिसडिक्शन एरिया, म्यूनिसिपैलिटी का ज्यूरिसडिक्शन एरिया जहां पे खत्म हो जाएगा, अंदर की लैंड है वो तो अर्बन ही कहलाएगी। लेकिन जो बाहर की लैंड है, तो बाहर की कहां तक की है वो अर्बन कहलाएगी, 8 किलोमीटर तक की है वो अर्बन कहलाएगी। We'll see the examples, then we'll be able to understand in a better way. Let's take the examples given over here only. Right? Say the population of the town is 9,000 and agricultural land is situated within 1 kilometer. If it is 9,000, obviously it does not qualify as rural agricultural land. It's not a capital asset. Obviously it qualifies as a rural agricultural land. Oh, sorry. That means it's not a capital asset. No, nothing. 10,000 के नीचे है तो देखना ही नहीं है पॉपुलेशन, 10,000 के ऊपर है तो देखना है। अच्छा, 1.5 किलोमीटर और पॉपुलेशन है 12,000 का, तो आप वो रूरल एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड है, कैपिटल असेट है? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल चलो पहले वो देखते हैं। रूरल एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड है तो वो कैपिटल असेट नहीं है, और रूरल एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड नहीं है मतलब कि वो कैपिटल असेट है। कैपिटल असेट है मतलब कि उसके ऊपर टैक्स पे करना है। 12,000 का पॉपुलेशन 1.5 किलोमीटर के अंदर आता है, यस टैक्सेबल। 11 लाख का पॉपुलेशन 2 किलोमीटर के अंदर आता है, यस। 80,000 का पॉपुलेशन, सी दैट इफ population is 80,000, then check what is the range given to you. If the population is from more than 10,000 but lesser than 1 lakh, then up to only the 2 kilometers would be urban. More than that, it would be rural. तो ये कितने किलोमीटर में है? 3 किलोमीटर में है। So it is obviously more than 2. So it's not a capital asset. That means it's the rural agricultural land on which you won't have to pay any tax if you are selling it, if there would be a transfer of that land. Let's take the example. Everyone, please go through that. 3 lakhs, 3 lakhs कौन सा कैटेगरी में आता है? 1 से 10 के बीच में। तो 1 से 10 के बीच में आता है, तो कितने किलोमीटर का डिस्टेंस दिया है? 6 किलोमीटर का, राइट? तो दिस 4 फॉल्स विद इन 6. Yes, this is a capital asset. So if it is a capital asset, if you are selling it, you will have to pay the tax on it. 12 lakhs का पॉपुलेशन, रेंज कितना है? 6 दिया है, ये 5 में अपने रेंज के अंदर आ जाता है. यस, कैपिटल असेट. पॉपुलेशन कितना? 8,000. देखने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, 6 2 सब कुछ भूल जाओ, 10 के ऊपर की बात कर रहे हैं अपन. नो. पॉपुलेशन कितना? 4 लाख. कौन सी रेंज में आता है सर? 1 लाख से लेके 10 लाख की रेंज में आता है. कितने किलोमीटर है? 6. यहाँ पे कितने हैं? 7. तो 7 किलोमीटर में है, तो वो कैपिटल असेट नहीं कहलाएगी. पॉपुलेशन है सर 10 से लेके 50, 10,50,000 का. तो 10,50,000 कौन सी रेंज में आता है? मोर देन 10. तो मोर देन 10 में कितनी रेंज दी हुई है? 8. तो ये 8 में आता है. यस, तो कैपिटल असेट है, अर्बन है. पॉपुलेशन कितना है? 15 लाख. 15 लाख हो कि 15 करोड़ हो, 9 किलोमीटर में कोई आएगी लैंड, तो वो तो रूरल ही हो जाएगी. मतलब कि वो कैपिटल असेट नहीं होगी, बिकॉज मैक्सिमम kilometers we have taken which is away from the municipality jurisdiction area is 8 kilometers only. Right? So अब यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम ये आता है कि सर वो एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड ना हो तो क्या? सो उसके उसके लिए क्लेरिफिकेशंस दिए है ना. सी, clarifies that capital gains arising from the transfer of any agricultural land situated in non-rural area as explained below will not constitute agricultural revenue within the meaning of section 2 is to subsection 1a. That means कि आपका जो एरिया है 2 किलोमीटर, 6 किलोमीटर, 8 किलोमीटर, उसके अंदर कोई एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड है तो वो अर्बन एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड कहलाएगी. तो अर्बन कहलाएगी तो वो कैपिटल असेट हो गया. Right? Let's understand the second. In other words, the capital gains arising from the transfer of such urban agricultural land would not be treated as agricultural income for the purpose of exemption. It will also not be taken as the agricultural income. तो आपका अर्बन एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड है, पहले तो एग्रीकल्चरल होना चाहिए, एग्रीकल्चरल प्रोड्यूस होना चाहिए, कुछ ना कुछ एग्रीकल्चरल चीजें वहां पे चलती रहनी चाहिए, देन ओनली इट्स एन एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड. If it is rural agricultural land, then only it is not capital asset, otherwise it is a capital asset. तो रूरल किसे कहते हैं? रूरल हम किसे कहते हैं कि ये रेंज के अंदर वो फॉल ना करे तो हम उसे रूरल कहते हैं. तो अल्टीमेटली इन लोगों ने हमें कैपिटल असेट की डेफिनेशन दे दी, मतलब कि अर्बन एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड की डेफिनेशन दी है. 10 के नीचे तो देखना ही नहीं है. 10 के नीचे तुम्हारा पॉपुलेशन है तो वो, और वो एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड है तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली रूरल ही हो जाएगी. लेकिन 10 से ऊपर पॉपुलेशन है तो फिर तुम ये देखोगे. इज इट क्लियर एवरीवन टिल नाउ? मे आई हैव अ छोटू सा कंफर्मेशन प्लीज? Okay, Miss Divya has asked me, sir, gold which is used in temple, will tax be levied on that? Okay, now you need to understand that who has got the income. The person who has got the income, no, is the temple. Now who is the temple? Temple is the charitable trust, right? Now charitable trust, an institution, it might be an NGO or something, you will have to understand from their perspective. Okay, till now anything which you couldn't understand? अच्छा, हमने क्या क्या चीजें सीखी है थोड़ा सा देख लेते हैं. पहले ये 2-3 चीजें थोड़ी चिंटू चिंटू बाकी रह गई, वो कर लेते हैं, उसके बाद में पूरा कैपिटल एसेट एक साथ में ले लेते हैं. राइट? सो fourth thing, which is, now see, we are right now into the exclusion of the capital asset. हम कौन से वाले टॉपिक में, वो भूल मत जाना. देखो कहां पे है, हम किधर है अभी? डज नॉट इंक्लूड वाले में उसमें एक किया. एक कौन सा? स्टॉक इन ट्रेड. दूसरा कौन सा किया? पर्सनल इफेक्ट. तीसरा कौन सा किया? रूरल एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड. अब हम चौथे में जा रहे हैं. तो मतलब ये कैपिटल असेट नहीं है. कौन से नहीं है? पहला, सर गोल्ड बॉन्ड इश्यू किए थे 6.5% वाले, और वो किसी को ट्रांसफर करते हो तो वो कैपिटल असेट नहीं कहलाएगा. सो इफ यू हैव अ गोल्ड बॉन्ड्स and if you are transferring it, they are exempted from the tax, even though you have the capital gains on it. So there are certain categories prescribed of the bonds in which if you invest, you won't have to pay any tax when the transfer will take place. 7% gold bonds, national defense gold bonds issued by central government. Then there were certain special bearer bonds 1991 issued by central government in 1991. At that point of time, if you had invested in those bonds, and right now if you have those bonds as well, and if you are selling it, you won't have to pay any tax on it, even though it's a transfer. Then it's a gold deposit bonds. Now there was certain gold monetization scheme introduced by 2015, when if you had the physical gold, you could give that physical gold to government back, and you could get some securities instead of that physical gold. So that was a gold monetization scheme initiated by the government, central government of India. And if you have those bonds in which you do not have the physical substance of a gold now, but you just have the financial security of the gold, and on that you get certain percentage of interest as well. And the gold prices, bond prices will be fluctuating in relation to the market price of the actual gold prices, right? So it's more sort of an investment in the gold only, but you are not keeping the physical custody of a gold, so which eliminates your risk to the greater extent. You won't have to store it, you won't have to protect it, you won't have to incur any kind of a maintenance cost as well to store that gold if you have that in too much of quantity. So if you had invested in that bonds, and if you are selling it now, then also you won't have to pay any tax on it, right? So here as well, one more clarification given, that property includes and shall be deemed to have always included any rights or in relation to Indian company, including rights of management or control or any other rights whatsoever. तो एक कंपनी के अंदर आपके कुछ राइट्स है, कौन से भी राइट्स हो सकते हैं, मैनेजिंग राइट्स, कंट्रोलिंग राइट्स. इफ यू आर सेलिंग दैट, that is also forming a part of the property. Any kind of a right, any kind of a thing for which you can get the money and income, if you are selling it, it's the capital asset, property, as simple as that. Sometimes only by transfer of shares, and if it is a shares, it's a financial security, anyway the capital asset. But sometimes the companies might not be limited companies, might be having some other arrangements, some joint ventures where shares are not there, but some other arrangements are made. Some rights are given by investing into capital, and if you are transferring that right, and if you are getting the capital back because of the transfer of that right, that's the capital asset. Okay, so these are the various exclusions we have seen. Let's have the rapid fire revision, and that would be the end of this lecture. So we have first of all seen that what is the capital asset. नहीं, पहले तो ये देखा सर कि हमें कैपिटल गेन्स कब पे करना है. तो पहले तो कैपिटल असेट होना चाहिए, नंबर 2 वो ट्रांसफर होना चाहिए. तो कैपिटल असेट किसे कहते हैं, चलो देखते हैं. तो कैपिटल असेट हमने देखा, एनी प्रॉपर्टी. The relation to business and profession is not mandatory, right? So no one can escape that it was not used in the business and profession, so I should not pay the tax on it. No. Number 2, foreign institutional investors who are investing in the Indian stocks from the foreign countries, even though they are keeping the stocks as a stock in trade, still they will have to pay the capital gains tax, not as the business and profession gains tax. Now that is because in a business and profession you get various exemptions, you get various deductions, right? Government do not want to go into that technical administrative burden. If someone charges, if those foreign institutional portfolio managers would be keeping it in a business and profession. Then as per the business and profession, first of all, you will have to identify what is the total income of that business and profession. So there are various deductions, there are various, incomes that to be included, not to be included. गवर्नमेंट बोली बाय बाय ऐसा कुछ नहीं करना है, तुमने अगर स्टॉक इन ट्रेड में भी रखा है ना तो भी उसको हम कैपिटल असेट ही ले रहे हैं, तो तुम्हें कैपिटल गेन्स ही पे करना है इसके ऊपर, सिंपल। वो बिजनेस प्रोफेशन वाली माथाकुट में जाना नहीं है। अब ये कैपिटल गेन में गवर्नमेंट क्यों ले रही है? क्योंकि कैपिटल गेन के ऊपर फिक्स परसेंटेज ऑफ टैक्सेशन है। ये आपके स्लैब रेट्स के हिसाब से कैपिटल गेन के ऊपर परसेंटेज कैलकुलेट नहीं होता। इट इज नॉट एज पर द स्लैब रेट्स विच यू हैव लर्न टिल नाउ। नो, हम देखने वाले हैं कि कैपिटल गेन के ऊपर कितना परसेंटेज कब टैक्स लगेगा। दे हैव द स्पेसिफिक टैक्सेशन रेट्स, और स्पेसिफिक टैक्सेशन रेट है तो सिंपल हो जाता है। इसलिए गवर्नमेंट बोला कि बिजनेस प्रोफेशनल की मगजमारी में नहीं जाना है, तुम उसको कैपिटल असेट ट्रीट कर लो। बट कैपिटल असेट कैन नॉट बी ट्रीटेड इफ इट इज अ स्टॉक इन ट्रेड, right? Normally, if it is used for the personal effects. But in personal effects, there are certain exclusions. So if there is an exclusion in the exclusion, that means it's an inclusion. That means it becomes a capital asset. So jewelry becomes a capital asset, drawing becomes a capital asset, paintings becomes a capital asset. Then rural agricultural land is not a capital asset. So first we need to identify what is urban and what is rural. So I have given you that if those lands would be falling within this jurisdiction areas, or after this limit of this jurisdiction areas, then it would be called as rural or urban. We have seen the definition of that too, right? And some of the bonds which are also not regarded as the capital gains, capital asset. Okay, so that's it from my side. If there is any doubt or query, you can ask it to me. Else I would be assuming that all of us are crystal clear about the capital asset definition now. The final chotu sa confirmation, please. Good. From Arjun we have got, from Mansi, from Mohini as well. Good to see that. Nice. So please put your attendance, your enrollment number, and your name, and we would be disposing from the lecture. That's it from my side. Bye bye. Take care. Please do not forget to put your enrollment number because I need to take it to you. That's why. And once it is done, then you may leave the class. Bye bye. Take care.